Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Today I'm going back to a place that I've been wanting to visit for a very long time. A place that my mom and sister Sarah visited, I think 3 years ago.
This area, known as the Rincon, I'm probably saying that wrong, is brimming with Native American and pioneer history. During our visit in November 2020, we explored pioneer-era buildings, including an old milk house from the late 1880s, and remnants of an old water wheel that used to draw water from the San Juan River. During our trip, we missed one important thing though, and that's why I returned, to explore the final item on my to-do list.
It's called the San Juan Hill, and it's the place that the Hole in the Rock expedition had to climb in order to get over Comb Ridge.
What is the Hole in the Rock expedition?
A group of pioneers were making their way from Escalante all the way down to the area now known as Bluff to settle. I'll talk more about this later, but this hill is kind of like the last major obstacle before they got to settle in Bluff.
And the pioneers couldn't just make a shortcut and go straight through this, because there is a massive 26-mile wall of solid sandstone called Comb Ridge blocking their way, so they needed to find a way around it, which they did down here.
We didn't have time to visit it last time because it was kind of far up the hill a little bit, but now I came back, so I'm gonna go check it out and walk in their same path. It feels good to be back in the desert. So a couple weeks ago we were in Boston, me, Annie, and her 3 kids, and I had no idea Boston was so cool.
Annie lived in Boston for some time while she was going to school. So on this trip we went to a lot of her favorite spots.
Such a fun little place, big place. We even went to a Red Sox game. But they lost, so. Do I have any subscribers in Boston? Let me know below in the comments so I know, but we had such a fun time. I can imagine being a pioneer and you're seeing this big wall of rock and it's daunting, you know, how are we gonna get over this thing? And so I can just imagine their feeling of like, are we gonna be able to do this? I mean, that's probably 700, 800 feet high and there's not really any way to go up, you know? Like, I mean, I could probably do it scrambling like all over the place to get to the top. Like for pioneers who have wagons and cattle and, you know, all these things, like you're probably thinking like, is this even possible?
This is a symbol of a wagon, or in our case here, the exact route these settlers took.
Okay, now we've reached the end of Comb Ridge, at least at this point, because Comb Ridge keeps extending, but there's the San Juan River right here. So once they come to this part and they think, wow, we just have to make a U-turn, you know, and then go up this crazy hill. And I'll show you that crazy hill once I come around the corner. Yeah, my Impala could not do that. Okay, so when the pioneers came here, they turned up left. Do you see that sloping hill in the background over there? So that is called the San Juan Hill. And that's what we're gonna go over and check out right now.
Why did the pioneers have to go up this spot and not just follow the banks of the river up? Well, if you go up a ways, the river goes right up to the cliffs, making it impossible to cross. Also, they couldn't take the San Juan River up because the river goes down at this point, and it's very strong. And other spots didn't work either. So that made the San Juan Hill the most logical location. A road would need to be made though.
Okay, so the pioneers came to this spot, and the sign says that they labored for days trying to make this path up this steep hill. And you can even see some of the ruts still in the sandstone and some of the marks that were carved so they can get footing for the animals to climb up this steep grade. So let's go up there.
Before I hike up this trail, I want to give you an overview of it with my drone. This portion is just over 1/4 of a mile, and it gains about 430 feet in elevation. The pioneers would have plenty of water nearby from the San Juan River, but they didn't have much feed left for their stock animals, who were already exhausted from their journey. The pioneers would need to work together again for this last big push. And even though this event happened about 140 years ago, I could almost feel their anxiety as they labored here trying to make a usable road.
So this is the exact path they took, and here I am walking on it, out of breath. Can you imagine just wagons and oxen right on the same trail right here? So right behind me are, I was gonna say Moki steps, but they're not Moki steps, they're for the oxen to climb up. They carved these steps right here so they could get grip, you know, as they climb up here. Huh. Now as I'm climbing up, I keep seeing these like little cracks and crevices filled with rocks. So I wouldn't be surprised if the pioneers moved these rocks in these little cracks to make the path a little bit more level and easier for the wagons and oxen and stuff to go up this thing. Yeah, there's like a lot of fill right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they made this path right here. So here's the road they built up. It would have taken a lot of work. Just think how tired you already are. You climbing up this thing. And you're not even halfway. Can't see the ridge line from here. There's just like, I bet a lot of this stuff is wagon wheel scrapings. Not these big divots right here, but some of these like chips in the rock. Wow, there's the road. Look at that. Right here, you can kind of see it go all the way up right there. This side is really steep, and imagine having a wagon on its side. Like you're probably using ropes and like people like holding it up so it doesn't fall down. This stuff is really, oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a wagon wheel rut right there. Right there. That thing. Wow. Yeah. Came all the way up here. Oh wow. So that sign at the bottom said that one of the oxen was pushing so hard, straining so hard to come up this hill that it died in the yoke. Like it pushed so much of its energy, of its life into climbing up this hill that it died in the yoke. They could also see that a lot of the animals, you know, legs were covered in blood and the hair was matted from the sweat and the blood and dirt and everything. So this was not an easy feat. Very easy to hike up, of course. But imagine, what was it, 250 people about climbing up this thing with all their equipment. This would be very, very difficult. This looks like some of the steepest on this path. It goes up here by scrapes. Oh, we aren't done yet. We have to go up here, then we're on top of Comb Ridge. We have to keep going, and we're gonna have to go through I think several creek beds to make it all happen. So imagine you come up to the top of this. You're feeling so much joy to be over the main obstacle of this Comb Ridge experience. And I can imagine these pioneers would be just so grateful. And in fact, they're so grateful that they carved this on the rock.
Hidden on this rock face is an inscription that was carved by the people who were in this expedition, and it gives you the perfect insight into what they were thinking after they made it to the top of this almost impossible hill.
These pioneers, I can just see them coming up this hill, and they just have a little bit more to go up there, and then, you know, just how many miles to Bluff before they finish their journey. Like, you'd just be so grateful, like, we're almost done for realsies. For real this time. Made it. Kind of. Still have a long ways to go. But now we're on top of Comb Ridge. That was the hardest part. So now they can continue on to Bluff and settle there. So you might be wondering, did the pioneers have any contact with the Native Americans in the area? They did. The Navajo were in this area, and also the Utes. I don't think they were right here in this area, but they were more to the east. There are accounts that the pioneers did see ruins, and they remarked about them and explored them. So I'm sure they probably, you know, saw some stuff around here too.
You might be wondering, did I find any ruins or rock art?
So over here, I saw these rocks standing up. Huh. Wow, cool. So these might be ruins right here, just the way that they're laid out, like these little blocks, room blocks right here. Yeah, see, there's some potsherds right there. I saw over here these big boulders, and it looked like there were some petroglyphs or something over here. Well, I thought those were petroglyphs, but they're just normal spots on a rock. But this stuff looks built up right here, like a little rock shelter. What do you think? Maybe, yeah? Kind of looks like it to me.
I also saw this random circle. It looked like it could have been some ruins, but what do you think it is?